Hey guys, it's Duct Tape Susie. This is going to be a tutorial on how to make this cell phone wallet. I recently did a vote on which cell phone wallet would you like to see a tutorial on. Well, I didn't say I was going to do a tutorial, but I decided I was going to, and this is basically what it looks like. 4 card pockets, ID, hidden, your cell phone pouch, and then your billfold, and a little wristlet that is detachable so you can hook it to a belt loop. So this is optional. You don't have to do this part if you don't have a keyring and Velcro, but if you do, then let's get through this. You're going to need 1 or 2 different colors or patterns of tape, your choice, a ruler, some Velcro. Actually, I have 2 pre-cut pieces here, a keyring, some sort of plastic for an ID, X-Acto knife, and or scissors, and then some sort of cutting surface. So let's get started. Okay, so for this section we're going to do the card pockets, and what you see right here. So for the card pockets, you're going to need a total of 8 strips that are 2 3/4 inch. You can do 3 inches and then trim them down, it's totally up to you. But I like to do 2 3/4 inch, and you'll need 8 of those. Now what I'm going to do is back my pockets with clear tape. If you're not going to, then you're going to need to cover the backs with more tape, meaning you're going to have to cut more strips. So I'll show you how to make the first pocket, and then you can finish up the pockets. So first off, you're going to take 1 piece of your 2 3/4 inch, place it on your mat, and I like to take my second piece and make it so it's almost 3 1/4 inch. I go just a little bit up from the 1/4 inch mark, so that way the card doesn't go too far into the card pocket. So what you have is 1 card pocket, and now like I said, if you're going to not use clear tape on this part, you would want to cut 2 more strips of tape to cover this up. If you're going to use the clear tape, then you just clear tape the back, and you're going to do it with all 4 of your card pockets. So then you have 1 card pocket. You can do your trimming to get your excess tape off if you have any. And then I will show you really quickly how to trim them as well. So that way you can have all 4 of your card pockets ready when we come back for the next step. So to do your trims, you're going to need 2 more strips of tape. Whatever color you're wanting to do your trims, I'm wanting to alternate my colors, pink and blue. So I will show you with one of the blue strips. I like to make sure that this edge of the pocket is downward, so when you slip your card in, it doesn't get stuck on the tape. So when you line it up, I like to line mine up to my grid, or as you can see, I have the 1/4 inch mark on my cutting mat. So you would just line your pocket up to that, and then lay your strip down. Whoops. And then you're just going to fold over your excess, and then you have trim on your pocket, on your card pocket. So you're going to do that to the rest of these card pockets, so you'll have a total of 4 card pockets when you're done, and we'll go on to the following step. Okay, now you should have all of your card pockets already trimmed, and in case you missed it earlier, I think I might have forgotten to tell you, when you cut your 2 strips that are 2 3/4 inch, you're going to make sure you cut those in 1/2 inch strips. That'll make it easier to do your trims, but if you already know how to do your trims, you don't need to really follow that step. So for this step, you're going to need 4 strips that are 5 inches in length. And then what we're going to do is create a fabric that is going to be 2 3/4 inch wide. So you just lay them together until you get like a 2 3/4 inch wide, like that. You're going to flip it over, and when you do this, you're going to lay your first strip down on top of it, like that. And now when you do this last piece you have here, you want to make sure you have it lined up so you can go over at least a 1/4 inch, because that's what's going to hold your pocket down afterwards. If you're used to doing with a 1/2 inch, you want to go a 1/2 inch over. So once you have that done, you're going to flip it back over, and this is where you're going to line your card pockets up, and this is going to fold over to hold your card pockets onto it. So I'm just going to take the remaining strips that I have left over since I alternated my colors, and I'm going to place my card about 3/4 of an inch down. Well, first you kind of want to put your sticky on it. Everybody does their card pockets different. I'm just doing it this way because it's a lot easier to show you. So you're going to go down to the 3/4 inch mark. Hold it down. And you're just going to continue layering your card pockets on there. I like to go down to the next line on my mat, which would be a 1/2 inch. And it looks like I might not have enough room, so I'm going to move mine up. So maybe you should start off at the 1/2 inch mark instead of the 3/4 inch mark. Basically, you already probably know how to do this part, but I just like to leave a little gap between my card pockets. I'm trying to line them up as well. So basically what you have is this. And then you're just going to fold over your excess, and that's going to hold your card pockets down. And you're going to want to trim up this excess if you have any excess on the edges here. And then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so for your next step, you're going to want 2 strips of tape. This is going to be the expansion section that you'll see right here. So you need 1 strip that is 2 3/4 inch and 1 that is 3 inches. You're going to take the 2 3/4 inch, put a sticky side up. You're going to line this 3-inch tape right up to it. Then you should have some sticky at the top like that. And you're just going to fold that over. And since our expansion isn't that thick, we didn't want it that bulky, we're just going to cut this right in half. So you can either fold it in half and then cut it, or just cut a straight line with your X-Acto knife. It's up to you. Okay, so now what you have is 2 expansions. You just want to set a crease in them by folding them in half. Like that. And set those aside. Now you're going to take 3 strips of tape that is 9.5 inches in length. We're going to make a fabric with this that is going to be a total of 5 inches in height. So I just like overlap it by 1/4 of an inch with the first 2 pieces. Oops. And then as you can see, we already have 3.5. We want it to be 5 inches wide. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you're going to flip this over, sticky side up. We're going to cover this with whatever color you want your billfold to be. Where mine is the patterned. I'm going to do patterned on the outside of this. And basically you're just covering it up, leaving it at least a 1/2 inch sticky on all edges. Okay. And you want to try to keep this as even as possible as you go. And so this last strip, you probably won't need the whole thing. So I like to fold it over first so I can kind of tell where I'm at. Oops. So with this strip, you want to just cut off and leave a 1/2 inch sticky on it. And you just set this aside. Okay, now you're going to cut your boxes out of this. If you want your trim actually smaller, then you can do that. I probably will trim mine down because I actually like my trim to be about 1/4 of an inch. Sometimes I go a little over 1/4, so it's kind of in between 1/4 and 1/2. So that's what I'm going to do now, is just line it up and trim it down a little bit. I like to save these little pieces for later. And this last one. Okay, so now what you're going to do is take your little wallet piece that you made earlier, and you're going to line it up to this one side over here. I need to trim mine down because of my sticky. So you'll line it up against this wall right here. There we go. And then you can fold over your excess sticky here. That's going to cover your edges of your card pockets on this side. And then you're just going to cut a little slit here and here. And this is just so you can cover up your card pocket. And now what we're going to do is we're going to fold this end. You can fold this edge over just so it has a nice clear rounded edge. And we're going to line it up so you're going to go up 3 inches on both sides. And we're going to fold it. But first you want to take your little pieces that you made earlier, and you're going to lay one side on there. And make sure you have your folded rounded edge up at the top. Do the same thing over here. And now we're just going to fold it up to the ends here. Fold in your excess. I guess I should have trimmed this afterwards. You're just going to fold those ends in and fold your creases back on your accordion style here. And then you're folding it up onto itself. And so now you're going to make another cut right at the top of where the accordion piece is. Not sure if you can see that. But basically you're meeting this edge of your accordion piece up to the inside, like that. And you're just going to fold in the sticky. And you're going to do that on both sides. It could get a little tricky. Just cut a little slit at the top there and fold in. Folding that bottom piece together. And so now what you have is the accordion section. You're just going to fold in the leftover sticky that you have here on the edges. So now you got your first part of your cell phone wallet. Now we need to build a back side so we can make this a billfold. And to make sure you get your ID out, your ID plastic, and make sure you put a trim on it because we're going to add it to this in the next section. Okay, now you should have your ID trimmed already. What I did was I used the leftover piece that we used while we were making the outside section of this. And I used it to trim my ID. And then I cut one strip off from that. That was 3 1/4 inch. And then I just cut that in half. And now all I'm going to do is line up my sides and cover 1/4 of it on both sides. Then you're going to peel this up. Bring your little cell phone pouch over here. You're going to line it up so that way your plastic is right in the center. And since it's 5 inches, you're going to probably need about a 1/2 inch on both sides. And you're going to take it right down to the very bottom. Let me see if I have the center. No, we don't. Okay, and then you're just going to stick that down and then fold over the excess. So now you have your ID attached, and you're wondering how this is going to get covered, and that's what we're going to do in this part. If you opted to not do the billfold, make sure you tape down this part of your ID. So for this section, you're going to need 3 strips that are a total of 6 3/4 inches long. We're going to go and make a fabric once again with this. And we want this to be 5 inches tall, I believe again. Yes. So you're just building a fabric till it's 5 inches tall. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So just take it up to the 5-inch mark. And now you want to trim up the excess edges. Flip it over, sticky side up. And we're going to cover this, leaving a 1/4 inch sticky on all 4 sides. Just like we did before, but it's the smaller section. I'm sorry I'm doing this so sloppy. I'm trying to hurry up so the video don't take forever. And you can take a strip that you used earlier for that section if you didn't use it already. Or you're just going to have to take another strip to cover up that excess. So now you're going to want to trim up your sides a little bit. Straight edges. You're going to trim this down once again. I like to trim mine down to between 1/4, a 1/2 and 1/4. So basically that's what we're doing again. Cut out your little boxes. And once you cut out your boxes, you can trim it down easier because you know where your corners are. So that's where you can line it up on your mat. And it looks like this side. Just trying to straighten it out a little bit and make it thinner. Some people like 1/2 inch thick sides. I personally would like it in between 1/2 and 1/4. Okay, so once you have that done, you're going to grab your cell phone wallet. And you're going to place it right on top of it. So I like to find the thicker side and use that as my bottom. You just fold over your top part on the inside of your little folds here. Oops. You're going to line this up. And fold up your excess on the bottom. And you can flip it over and cover your sticky here if you'd like, if you have extra. I'm just going to use a piece I cut off earlier. You can clear tape it if you would rather clear tape it. It's your preference, really. I'm just going to fold this. Okay, sorry, it looks like I got cut off, but basically what you do is fold over your excess onto your side, so basically you have your cell phone wallet with your billfold there. So now what we're going to do is do a little strap here, add a little connector, so you're going to need your key ring here as well. Okay, so I just took the leftover strip that I used earlier right here and I cut it down to 6 inches. What I'm going to do is fold it in half. If you have a thicker piece, you can fold it into 2 halves, so that way there's no rough edges. But so basically I just fold it in half, and then you have a 3-inch strip here of whatever color you choose. I chose pink, and I'm just going to set this strap right about here. What I'm leaving is 1/4 inch sticky on each side, or a little more than that. You just want 1/4 sticky on each side here. Okay, so I'm not sure where we left off at because I kept having trouble with the video stopping. So basically what I was trying to show you is that I'm making a strap. If you don't know how to do a strap, you can just skip this part. But what I did was I used another 3-inch strip of tape to cover the inside. And then I left 1/4 sticky on all the edges. And I'm just going to fold that over. And then I'm going to fold my cell phone wallet, figure out where I want the front to be, and then trim this back, whoops, and just fold it over. And you can either cut a piece of tape or use some of your excess that you had left over. I'm just using some of the leftover I had. And you're just going to cover that up. So then you're going to add your little strips of Velcro. Oops. So what I like to do is put one end here, and I'm going to cut my Velcro just a little thin, or a little too thick. And then I like to put the other one right on top of it and peel off this. And then you want to be really careful when you put it extra. You kind of want it right in the center, like that. And I like to leave a little bit of a gap here so that way you can still be able to shut it with your phone in it. Okay, so afterwards you can undo that, and where your crease is, right here. So I guess we could say about 1, 2, 3, 3.5 is where your crease should be at. You're going to cut a little slit on both sides of your little crease there. And make sure you don't go all the way through, just through this part right here. Okay, now you're going to take 2 3-inch strips of tape. The first one, You're going to fold it in half onto itself, or depending on however thick you want it to be. So basically you should just have a little strip like this. You're going to take your key ring over the one end, like that. I'm going to flip this over. Make sure your slits are large enough for your strip to slide through the one end. And you're going to leave your key ring out and slide in your other end. Okay, and now when it folds, you want to leave a little bit there so you can attach your key ring like that. So when you open up your billfold, you should still have the little strips. You could trim those ones down now. It might even be easier to do this before you put the wallet together, but I like to know where my crease is at. You're going to take your other 3-inch strip of tape and you're going to tape down the inside of those little straps that came through the inside. Sorry, I'd like to show you through the camera, but unfortunately I can't see that way. So then you should have that all taped down. Mine's going to have a big crease in it because I had part of that tab in there. So this could be a little tricky getting it in there straight, and that's why it might be easier to do this beforehand, before putting the entire thing together. I just personally find it easier to know where my crease is at. I'm going to trim my piece down just a little bit because I kind of folded it onto itself. And cover that strip up like that. So now you have your little key ring here. And for the next step, we're going to attach a wristlet. Okay, now that you have your cell phone wallet and your little strap here finished, we're going to cut a strip of tape that is 13 inches in length. You're going to fold it up sticky side up. And now you're going to fold this half inward. So you're going to fold it half onto itself. And then you're going to fold your remaining sticky over onto itself. Okay. So you're going to take one end. You could trim these down so you have nice straight edges if you'd like. You're going to take one end in through your key loop like that. And you're going to fold it onto itself like that. And you could take a strip of tape they had left over or cut a strip. I'm just going to use a piece that I had left over. And you're going to tape that down. It's kind of wrapped around. As you can see, it is attached there and taped here. Now you're going to trim off your other end to make sure you get a nice end there. And from here, you can Velcro it right to here, but I like to have like a nice little edge here. So I'm just going to take a piece, oops, sorry. Just going to take a strip of tape that I have left over and cover up that end. I'm just going to cut a strip right there and then fold it over onto itself and cut off the remaining edges here so it's nice and straight. So then you don't have no rough edges there. Okay, now you're going to take your other strip of Velcro you have here. You're going to place one end right onto the colored, well, I put the color there so it's easier to tell, color for navy. And then I like to place the other piece right on top of it. Peel that off. And then take this end and stick it right onto it. So then you might want to trim your Velcro down a little shorter. I have mine a little too wide. And you don't want it sticking out. So then what you have there is a wristlet. You can unvelcro it and attach it to a belt loop, or you can attach it to your wrist, and then you have your cell phone wallet. And don't forget to cut the little slits in your pockets on the sides here, on the edges down here, so you can get into your billfold or your hidden. And then once again you have your cell phone pouch, your ID, and your and your billfold. So I'm really sorry about the lighting and that the video took forever. But if this was helpful, please don't forget to click on the like button. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And I will see you guys soon. Bye.